Hey everybody, it's Tim Wagner here. Today I want to talk a little bit about one of the most important things that I ever tell my students, which is that you shouldn't think of ourselves as storytellers, because what we're really doing is giving people the tools to tell themselves their own story. Think about what it's like when you go to a movie or watch one at home. The movie does everything for you. You do not have to imagine anything. You do not have to uh, do any work, really. You can just sit there passively as long as you're paying attention. And everything's been done for you in terms of what the story is, how everything looks, what the sound is. The actors put emotion into what they do. Um, we still think and feel things, so we still react as an audience, but we are not part of the story making process. Fiction writers are a lot more like composers of music. What we do is we create something and then we hand it to a reader slash musician, and they play it. But what the instrument they use instead of a cello or a guitar or whatever is that they use their imagination to play it. And so it's really important as a writer for you to understand how people interpret words and chunks of words that create images in order to make a story come alive in their minds. So it's not just simply you do something like writing and then the vampire attacked him and drained his blood. Uh, there's nothing in anybody's mind at that point. You haven't given them enough details for them to be able to create any sort of story. So you do supply details, not too many, because then you're going to not leave enough room for somebody to imagine it themselves. Too few, they don't have enough material to work with. So you would say something like, and I'm just making this up as I go, so be kind. Um, you know, Bob felt a chill on the back of his neck. He turned, saw a black streak coming toward him, felt a cold wave of air blast him in the face. Something slammed into him, knocked him to the concrete. He felt a heavy weight pressing him down. He saw burning red eyes in the darkness. He heard a satisfied chuckle. Um, then he felt this light, sharp pinprick of teeth against his neck. A tongue kissed his flesh gently as if tasting him. Then he felt the piercing, this is terrible, piercing pain, the incisors breaking through his skin, twin little pops, and it was followed instantly by a numbness, um, as if the teeth were injecting an anesthetic to make it easier for the thing to feed upon him. He felt the cold, dead lips fasten to his neck. Then he felt a pull as the creature began to suck and suck and suck. Okay, so something like that. It would be a lot better if I sat down to write it, hopefully. But you get the idea. What I have done is try to think of all kinds of things that would give people the tools to imagine that scene. Um, I do it step by step. I do it um, through sensory impressions because this person is not going to see a vampire coming at them. They're going to see a streak of black. They may see cold red eyes burning in the darkness. They're going to feel things. They're going to smell things. They're going to hear things. And it's all happening so fast, it's going to be a jumble of sensory impressions. So what I have to do is pick the ones that I think are going to create for the reader the experience of being in that place and having this thing happen to them. And that's what I mean by like composing music. We're giving people the tools to tell themselves their own story. So one of the things you can do if you've already got a story written, take a few lines from it and see if you're not doing this. If you're telling too much or telling too little, try to imagine it as if you are that character and try to imagine for a reader what information, what images, what sensory details, what thoughts or feelings on the part of the character do your readers need in order to go ahead and make this scene come alive for them.